Okay? So recall muna natin how to represent an atom because on the latter part of our discussion, this will always be introduced. No? So again, to represent an atom, we use the symbol X, okay, or capital X. This is to indicate the elemental symbol, okay, or the symbol of the element. Okay. And then on the upper right corner, upper left corner is the atomic mass number, and on the bottom left corner is the atomic number. Now, focusing on the atomic number first, take note, this is equivalent to the number of protons. I repeat, atomic number of the element, which is the characteristic of an atom, that is also equivalent to its number of protons. So, for any element, kapag hydrogen, kahit isotopes pa yan ng hydrogen, the same yung proton niya, as is fixed constant yung atomic number. Characteristic yung property yan ng, parang intrinsic property yan ng element. Alright? And for atomic mass, so I have introduced this already, how to compute, that is just equal to the number of protons plus the neutrons. Now, for instance, we have this, we'll go with a blank page. So for instance, we have the atom sodium. Okay? So to represent sodium with its mass, including its proton number, you simply write on the left bottom part its proton number or atomic number, that is 11. And then on the upper left corner is its mass, so 23. Okay? So lahat po makikita ko sa periodic table ha. Pang ilan sa sodium, pang 11, that is its atomic number, yan yung proton number. So if you are to ask, what is the proton number of sodium? Then 11. Now, paano pag tinanong, what is the number of electrons in that neutral atom of sodium? Okay, mind you class, that for any neutral, take note, for any neutral atom, pag sinabing neutral atom, no charge, uncharged, wala kang makikitang positive charge, negative charge sa mismong symbol ng atom. Okay, so halimbawa yan ay represented sodium, Na lang, hindi ko naman sinabing Na+, diba yung ion form ng sodium is Na+. So dito, neutral lang yung atom. If that is the case, if neutral lang yung atom, then take note, proton is just equivalent to the number of electron. Proton is positively charged, electron is negatively charged. So pag tinanong ilan yung electron number dito ng sodium, it is also 11. So equal lang. Now paano pag ion form ng sodium yung binigay? Okay? Then, tinanong kayo, ilan kaya yung number of electrons kapag ion na ng sodium? Okay, so say for example, yung binigay, okay, so sodium plus, tama, di ba? Fixed yan, constant. Ion form of sodium is Na+. You can check on your list of ions, ha? So, tapos sinabi dito, 11 yung proton. So, tama, protons is equivalent to 11, but ilan, yung tanong, ilan yung electrons. Now, you have to take note this, class, that whenever the atom is already charged, okay, take note, if it is already a charged atom, ibig sabihin ng charged atom, meron siyang positive charge o kaya negative charge na makikita sa symbol niya, then that is an indicator yan na yung particular atom na yan loses or gains electron. I repeat, yung charge, okay, presence of charge in an atom, may it be positive, may it be negative, that is our determinant, that is our indicator that yung particular atom na yan loses or gains electron. Now, kailan siya nag-lose ng electron? Okay, let me ask you what is again the charge of electron? What is the charge of electron? It is, okay, it is negative, right? So negative yung electron, charge ng electron. Ngayon, when you say an atom loses an electron, loses, nag-donate siya ng electron, nagbigay siya ng negative charge, nagbigay siya ng negative charge, nag-lose siya ng negative charge, ano yung mangyayari sa kanya? Magiging more positive ba siya or magiging more negative? Kung nagbigay nag-alis siya ng negative electron, ano yung mangyayari sa kanya? Positive or negative? It is, okay, it is magiging positive ion siya. Very good. Kasi nga, nagbigay siya ng negative charge na electron, nawalan siya ng negativity, magiging more positive siya. So, yan yung indicator natin. Kapag positive charge, yung makikita mong charge sa isang ion, then that ion loses an electron. Pag sinabing plus lang, meaning na plus 1. Pag plus 1, nag-lose siya ng ilan? Nag-lose siya ng ilang electron. Kapag plus 1 lang, nag-lose siya ng, tama, isang electron. Ang tawag po natin sa ion na yan is cation. Yan yung cation na memorize nyo. Diba? Daming cation na memorize nyo. Hindi na sumusulat. Dito na lang. Okay, so cation. So para hindi nyo makalimutan na basta cation positive, yung letter T dyan, i-highlight nyo yung letter T dyan. Letter T, di ba? Positive. Okay, so yung isa na hindi nyo na-memorize, yung anion, then automatic, the opposite one, negative naman. So again kapag gain, then negative charge yun. Okay, nag-gain siya ng electron is negatively charged. Okay, so nagdagdagan siya ng negative electron, magiging much more negative yan. So yan yung mga anions, diba? As you can see on your list of ions, ang mga anions negatively charged. Ibig sabihin, kapag negatively charged yung ion form nila, during chemical reaction, chemical combination, nag-gain sila ng electron. Yung tanong, bakit po sila nag-gain? Bakit sila nag-lose ng electron? They gain, they lose electron to attain their stability. Para maging stable sila. Okay, you will understand that if you had access the video material I posted last Monday, na-discuss doon yung chemical combination, yung chemical bond. Okay, na-discuss doon bakit nag-lose, bakit nag-gain yung atom. That is to attain their stability. Okay? So, ito, balik tayo kay sodium. Sodium plus, ibig sabihin, nag-lose siya ngayon ng electron. Ilan? Sabi nyo, isa. Kasi nga, plus 1 lang. Ang tanong, ilan yung number of electrons sa sodium ion sa Na+. Very good. Nag-lose nga siya from 11 minus 1, 10. Okay, so huwag kayong ma-confuse kapag positive. Minsan kasi yung mga students, kapag positive recharge, nadagdagan siya. Hindi po. Ibig sabihin please, ilagay nyo sa utak nyo kapag positive, we're talking about here the losing or gaining electrons. Tandaan yung electrons, negative charge yung electrons. So kapag positive, nawalan siya ng electron, kaya naging positive siya. Kapag naging negative yan, nadagdagan siya ng electron. Which is negative. Okay, let's have another example. Halimbawa, magnesium naman. Magnesium, what is the charge of magnesium cation? It is 2 plus. Okay, very good. 2 plus. Now, if you can check on your periodic table, diba, the atomic number niya is 12. Siya yung kasunod ng sodium. Okay? So, meaning yung proton number niya is 12. Now, yung tanong, ilan yung number of electrons? Sige, type in your answer. Ilan yung number of electrons this time?
10.
Affected. Very good. It's 10. Okay? Bakit 10 ulit? Tingnan. 2 plus, ibig sabihin nag-lose siya ng dalawang electron. So, from 12 minus 2, 10. Okay, let's have another example para makabisado. Fluoride. What is the charge of fluoride? What is the charge of fluoride? It is, yes, negative 1. Okay, kaya pinamemorize ko sa inyo yung mga charges. Okay? Kasi aside from gamit siya dito, magagamit niyo yan pag naming and writing of formulas. Okay, of inorganic compounds. So, proton here, by the way, atomic number of fluorine is 17. Okay, tama? Ang 17 siya. So, 17 yung number of proton. Nasa periodic table ha, tingnan. Pang ilan siya sa arrangement, pang 17 yung fluorine, yan yung atomic number niya, equivalent yan sa proton number 17. Yung tanong, the number of electron, it is, okay, it is 18. Very good. Okay, bakit naging 18? Tingnan, negative charge. Negative 1, negative, nadagdagan. Nadagdagan ng electron. Nadagdagan ng isa. So, 17 plus 1, yun lang. Okay? So, as you can observe, di ba? Tingnan natin ha. Balik tayo kay magnesium. You tell me what is the atom or element in the periodic table na merong atomic number or proton number na 10? Anong element? It is yung may 10 na atomic number. Okay, that is neon ba? Neon. Very good. Neon. Okay? Now, you all know that yung nasa group 8, yung pang group 8 na mga elements, stable yan sila. Tandaan nyo, stable yan sila. Meaning to say, hindi yan sila nagre-react. Hindi sila nagpa-participate sa mga chemical reaction kasi stable na sila. Itong mga elements from group 1 to 7, group 1 to 7, sila yung may ion form. Meron silang ion form. Nag-lose sila, nag-gain ng electron. Kaya, para nga ma-attain yung stability, katulad ng stability ng mga group 8 elements. O, tingnan si magnesium, diba? Nag-lose siya ng dalawang electron. Para ma-attain yung stable na 10 completely filled electrons sa shell niya. Which is the same kay neon. Diba si neon, 10 yung proton number niya, 10 yung electron number niya. Yan yung stable niya. Same with fluorine. Fluorine, wala. Okay? So, sensitive tayo ako. So, balik ka kay fluorine. Ayan, 17. Proton is, electron is 18. So, sabi dito, electrons is 18 for fluorine. Now, tanong ko, ano yung element sa periodic table under group 8, yung may 18 na proton number, very good, argon. And argon is stable. Okay? So si chlorine, nag-gain siya ng isa pang electron para ma-attain niya yung stability katulad ng ka-stability ni argon. Okay? Yan yung ginagawa ng mga atom. Nag-lose sila, nag-either lose sila or nag-gain ng electron para ma-attain yung stability. Okay? Sige. Okay na tayo dyan. Sige. Let us now proceed to our next topic. I think wala namang tanong. Okay? So, yun lang yung tandaan nyo. Kapag neutral atom, walang charge, the same yung number ng proton to that of the electron. Kapag naman, charge na yung atom, affected na yung number of electron. Kapag charge. Sige, dito tayo ngayon sa quantum number. Okay? So, this time we will discuss how electrons in an atom are being distributed. Now, in learning how these electrons are arranged sa mismong atom, okay, and in learning how are the location, how is the energy of every electron sa atom, usually we use the concept of quantum numbers. Okay? And maybe some of you is not familiar to this, but it's okay. We'll have a thorough discussion. Dili lang siya review, thorough discussion siya on quantum number. Now, with regards to electrons sa atom, Okay, di ba yung electrons, they surround an atom. This is an atom. This is an atom. So this is the nucleus.
Okay, so I'm saying here we
Nasa inside. What surrounds an atom are electrons. Okay. Now, electrons surrounding an atom, they usually can be thought of as occupying set of shells, set of orbitals around a nucleus. So ang tawag dun sa shells that surround the nucleus, ang tawag dun is atomic orbital. Susulat nyo, atomic orbital. So again, atomic orbital, this is somehow a region in space, where there is a highest probability, okay, of finding an electron. Okay? So dito, usually, nagre-reside yung electron surrounding a nucleus. Again, para siyang region around the nucleus, okay, where most probably doon nagre-reside yung electron. Yan yung atomic orbital. Okay? And this atomic orbital, or let's say the subshells, the shells, para silang shells that surround the nucleus. Itong mga subshells nito, these are the S, apat yan, S, P, D, and F. Okay, so these are the atomic orbitals of the subshells. And look at them, that they are represented in three-dimensional figure, three-dimensional representation, and they have different shapes. Tama? Magkakaiba yung shapes nila. Yung S, parang spherical. Diba? Parang siyang spherical in shape. Yung P sa baba ng S, it looks like a dumbbell shape. Okay, then yung D, parang siyang clover leaf. You can search on the internet. Yung clover shape. And then yung yung F orbital, perpendicular kung ano yung nasa taas, yun din yung nasa baba, perpendicular to each other yung shape ng F. Now, ulit ha, etong mga shapes na to, hindi sila electron, region lang sila, region ng parang area sa space around the nucleus where we can find electrons. And please take note, as early as now, na per orbital in each subshell, they can only accommodate maximum of 2 electrons. Okay, I repeat, each of the orbital per subshell can only occupy 2 electrons. So, halimbawa, si P orbital. Halimbawa, sige lang, ato siya mal-discuss later on. Halimbawa, si P orbital, meron siyang P subshell, meron siyang tatlong orbital. Halimbawa, meron siyang tatlong orbital. Take note, per orbital ng P subshell, dalawa lang yung maximum, okay, electrons that can occupy. Ibig sabihin, sa unang orbital, dalawa yung pwedeng maka-occupy yan. Sa pangalawang orbital niya, dalawa lang din yung maka-occupy na electron. Yung mga arrows represent electron na, for instance. Yung pang-third din ng orbital, ganun din. Okay? Dalawa lang yung electrons that can occupy. So please take note this ha, 2 electrons can only be accommodated per orbital. And if, as we all know, as we go down a group in a periodic table, di ba, pataas ng pataas ang ilang atomic number. Di ba? Kung atong subayon ang periodic table, pataas ng pataas yung atomic number nila. Therefore, pataas ng pataas yung electron number nila kapag neutral. Di ba? Pataas. Therefore, kailangan ng maraming orbitals para ma-accommodate yung sila lahat. If, especially yung atom na yan, has a lot of electrons. Okay? So good thing we have this concept on quantum mechanical model. Sino nga ulit yung nag-propose ng quantum mechanical model? Di ba this was introduced sa previous video material? si Mr. Schrödinger, ano ba yung basahin? Schrödinger, he was the one who proposed quantum mechanical model. Sabi niya doon, electrons daw po, they are arranged in three-dimensional space. So yun yung electron cloud, ito yung atomic orbital. Okay? He was actually referring to atomic orbital, yung sinabi niyang electron cloud. Okay? Yung electrons daw naka-arrange in 3D, okay, in an electron cloud. Atomic orbital yung nire-refer niya. Okay? Now, talking about quantum number, there are set of quantum numbers which describes an electron. Okay? And there are actually four. Take note, there are four quantum numbers and we will discuss them each. Okay? For the first three quantum numbers, take note, they describe the distribution of the electron. I repeat, the first three has something to do with the atomic orbital in particular. Okay? So yung first three, they describe the atomic orbital. Okay? Particularly, they describe the size of the atomic orbital, the shape, okay, of the atomic orbital, and even the position, okay, or the orientation of that atomic orbital. So yan yung dinedescribe ng first three in general, overview ko lang. Then the fourth quantum number naman, it has nothing to do with atomic orbital. Yung sa kanya naman, sa fourth quantum number, it only describes the behavior. Meaning to say, when you say behavior, it could be the rotation, okay, or the spin of the electron. Kumbaga yung intrinsic activity or property, okay, property ng electrons. Okay, yan lang yung dinadescribe ng fourth quantum number. So without further ado, let us start the first quantum number. And when you study this, chronological dapat. First quantum number, second quantum number, hindi pwedeng rumble. Okay, chronological kung quantum number. Okay, later you will appreciate why dapat chronological in order to say. Okay, the first quantum number is the principal quantum number. Now, as you can see, it is designated with the symbol small letter n. Okay, I repeat, first quantum number is designated with small letter n. Now, what are the possible values of principal quantum number? Take note, the n value, this could have any positive integer value. Pag sinabing any positive integer value, hindi po kasali yung decimal point, hindi po decimals, hindi rin po fraction, okay? Hindi rin po zero. These are not part of positive integer value. Okay? So ano lang, starting with 1, dapat whole number. Yan yung positive integer value. Whole number starting with 1, 2, 3, so forth. Yan yung posibleng value natin for principal quantum number. Now, what is the importance of this principal quantum number? Ano yung importance niya describing the atomic orbital? Take note, key term natin, para hindi makalimutan, principal quantum number, this is relative to the size of the atom. I repeat, it indicates the size of the atom. Okay, so ibig sabihin, kapag ang n value mataas, okay, or greater ang n value ng isang atom, ibig sabihin, directly proportional, larger din yung size ng atom. Okay, what are the other importance ng principal quantum number? It describes the energy level. I repeat, it describes the main energy level of the electron in an atom. Directly proportional din kapag yung n value is greater for that atom, then energy level is also higher. Okay? Now, focusing on the size of the atom, halimbawa, prior to that, if you are to find out the n value of the atom, our best way to distinguish the n value is to look at the period where the atom or element belongs to. Halimbawa, hydrogen. Si hydrogen, tell me, saang period siya in the periodic table? Kapag period, horizontal. Very good. Nasa period 1 siya. What about aluminum? Now, tell me. Aluminum, nasa ang period si aluminum? Tama, nasa third period siya. Tama? Okay, aluminum nasa third period. Yung mga value na yan, that indicates the highest or main energy level ng mismong atom that we identify. Ibig sabihin, if you are to ask, what is the n value of hydrogen? The n value of hydrogen is 1 because it is placed in period 1 in the periodic table. I repeat, yung indicator natin to identify the energy level, the highest energy level of an atom is kung saang period sila makikita sa periodic table. So hydrogen nasa period 1, and value niya is 1. Aluminum nasa period 3, and value niya is 3. Now, looking at the value, mas malaki yung value and value ng aluminum. Okay? That makes sense. Okay? Kasi, kung i-compare din natin yung size nila, mas malaki yung size din ng aluminum. So, ibig sabihin, pwede yung factor bakit mas malaki yung size ng aluminum, atomic size ng aluminum, it is because of the n value as well. Kasi greater yung n value niya. Diba yung n value, it has something to do with the level, the shell. So, ibig sabihin, meron siyang tatlong level. Okay? And on the third level, nandoon yung electrons, outermost electrons, okay, ng aluminum sa pang-third niya. Okay, I'm talking about the outermost electron. Siyempre, may core electron siya, inner electrons. Because I'm talking of the outermost electron. So, nasa highest level ng aluminum. That is the main energy level niya. Highest energy level niya is the 3. Okay, 3. Okay. And then for hydrogen, this is hydrogen, the nucleus of hydrogen, 1 lang daw yung n value niya. Ibig sabihin, ang liit niya. Kasi nga, isang level lang. Yan lang yung energy level. Diba? So kung babalikan natin itong concept na to, the greater the n value, the larger the size is of the atom. Diba? If you compare hydrogen, 1 lang yung n value, aluminum, 3 yung n value, mas malaki yung size ng aluminum. That is why n value, the principal quantum number, it indicates the size of the atom. Now, with this concept, we can also say na kapag malaki yung size ng atom, kumusta yung mga electrons, okay, na nasa outermost part ng atom? Farther, syempre. Diba? Kasi nga, palaki ng palaki yung size ng atom, kumusta yung mga outermost electron? Malayo sa nucleus ng atom. Okay? That's why farther ang nakalagay dyan. Farther yung electrons from the nucleus. Okay? So, yan yung meaning dyan. Alright? So I repeat, quantum number na principal, okay, this could have a value of a whole number from 1, 2, and so forth. It is the one that describes the size of the atom and the highest energy level ng atom. Okay, next, let us proceed to the second quantum number. For the second quantum number, this is also known as azimuthal quantum number. Okay? Now, ang azimuthal quantum number, this is designated by a pronounced L. Okay? Parang italic L. Ayan. Okay? Now, ano yung mga values ng L? Okay? Or angular momentum quantum number. Take note, this can have any value from 0 up to n minus 1. I repeat, the L value po, okay, is from 0 up to n minus 1. Ibig sabihin, tingnan, ano nga ulit yung n, di ba? Principal quantum number. Ibig sabihin, it is the n that limits L. When I say limits, kailangan natin si n value para makuha yung L value. That's why dapat chronological yung quantum number. I repeat, the angular momentum quantum number value, it can be identified if the n value is given. Okay, so halimbawa, doon tayo kay aluminum. The n value ulit ng aluminum is 3. Now, if you are to ask, what are the L sub L? L value of this atom given the n is 3. Ano yung mga posibleng value? So, again, 0 to n minus 1. So, substitute mo lang n minus 1, 3 minus 1. 2. Sabi dito, values of L is from 0 man. From 0 to n minus 2. So, yung mga values ng L is 0. Ano pa? 1 and 2. Nakuha? Kasi nga, 0 up to n minus 1. Okay, so 0, 1, and 2. Ngayon, ano yung importance ng mga ito? Ano yung importance ng mga values ng L? Okay? Again, nagde-describe din siya ng atomic orbital. Particularly, yung dinedescribe niya, key term natin dito, shape. Ana lang. Di ba? Pag sinabing angle, parang relative siya sa shape. Okay? Angle, shape. Okay? Angular shape yan. Okay? Quantum number. So, para di makalimutan. Now, ma'am, kung shape, bakit values of 0, 1, and 2? Okay. Take note, class, na itong mga values na makukuha mo sa L, they are designated with letters. I repeat, itong mga values na makukuha mo sa L, designated yan with letters based on the quantum number concept. So kapag yung nakuha mong values of L, okay, meron yung corresponding letter. Okay, ano ngayon yung letters? Yung letters po that corresponds each values, they describe shape. Okay. So, for instance, if the value of L is 0, the letter that designates 0 is S. Kapag 1, P. Kapag L is 2, D. Kapag L is 3F. This is fixed. You have to memorize this. Okay? And again, ano sabi ko kanina? What are the importance of this letter? This letter describes shape. of atomic orbital. Naalala sa first slide ko, may pinakita akong 3D representation ng S, P, D, and F. And iba-iba yung shape nila. Yun na yun. Yun na yung shape ng S, spherical siya. Yung P, sub-level, it looks like a dumbbell shape. Yung D, sub-level, it looks like a clover shape, clover leaf shape. And then yung F, sub-level, perpendicular to each other. Okay? So that is for angular momentum quantum number. Again, the angular momentum quantum number, the key term, it describes the shape. And what are the possible values of angular momentum quantum number? 0 up to n-1. Kailangan ang n value para makuha ang l value. Okay? And whatever you get na l value, make sure you memorize what is the corresponding letter. Para may relative importance na yun yung shape. Kasi pag 0 lang yung ilagay mo, then malay ba natin kung ano yung shape niyan? Mas mabuti yung alam mo yung 0 S yan, kapag 1 P yan, 2 D yan. Kasi S spherical, P yung shape niya somehow is dumbbell shape, D is clover leaf. No, saan ba galing yung mga letters na yan? Yung S, P, D, and F. Actually, class, trivia lang, no? Ang S, P, D, F, this actually comes from the word sharp. Okay, sharp. P for principal. Okay. D for diffuse. And F for fundamental. Okay. Now, saan galing tong mga words na to? These words were used even before pa yung na-propose na develop yung quantum number model. Okay? So, ito, yung sharp, principal, itong mga whole word na to, they specifically describe spectra, atomic spectra, features ng atomic spectra. Okay? Kasi again, before, hindi pa advanced yung mga equipments, wala pa tong quantum number mechanics. So, yung ginagamit nila, medyo low-key pa ng mga equipment. So, may mga computerized pa ng mga spectra, then may mga graph, plotting, that is to identify the atomic orbital, the absorption lines ng atoms, ganun. Pero, yun na nga, when the time comes na yung quantum mechanics were developed, proposed by Schrödinger, these words were just adapted. But, only the first letter of the words. Kasi this time, yung SPDF, shape na yung dinedescribe. Hindi naman atomic spectra yung dinedescribe, di ba, ng SPDF. For angular momentum quantum number, shape na yung dinedescribe. So parang in-adopt na lang, no? Para may silbi din yung previous na mga ginamit to categorize features ng atoms. Right? So in-adopt lang siya. Pero yung first letter lang. Okay, so again, SPDF letters describe shape. These are subshells. Another thing, with regards to these subshells, sa periodic table po, diba? If this is the periodic table, yan. Okay, so if that is your periodic table, nasa harap nyo, malalaman natin kung saang orbital, kung S, P, D, or F ba nagre-reside yung valence electron o yung outermost electron ng each element. Later, mabibigyan natin yan ng buhay or ma-appreciate nyo later kung ano yung valence electron, ano yung SPDF in writing electron configuration. So later, okay, I will introduce that. So for now, just know that in the periodic table, on this block, ito, ayan, yung part na yan, S block sila. Ibig sabihin, yung outermost electron nila, when we write their electron configuration, makikita sa S sublevel, nandoon yung outermost electron nila, nagre-reside. Whereas, itong nasa gitna, di ba sa periodic table may gitna, okay? Sila naman yung tinatawag na D block. Okay, so D block nandoon nagre-reside sa D block, sa D orbital nagre-reside yung mga outermost electron nila, then dito naman yung P block. Okay, if you're familiar already with the electron configuration, then I'm mag-write 1s, 2s, 2p, okay? And then you try to check in your periodic table the electron configuration of these parts. You can see, you can realize then nga, nga no, sa S block sila gaen, kani sa D block sila gaen, kani sa P block sila gaen. Okay, then di ba mayroong bottom part, yung periodic table, yung lanthanides, actinides, okay, nandyan. Sila naman yung F block. Okay, so medyo marami na yung electrons dyan kasi hanggang F na. Okay, hanggang F na. Okay. So far, dalawa na yung na-discuss natin na quantum number. Una, principal quantum number. Pangalawa, angular momentum quantum number.
Can you see in there where
May I ask you, which of the quantum number ulit ang nagde-describe ng size? Is it 1 or 2? 1 or 2? Size of an atom. Very good. Question. Posible ba na may zero na n value? Yes or no? Posible ba na may zero n value? Yeah, no. Okay. Sabi, yes, tama. No, yung sagot. Okay. Sige. Then for L value, pwede may zero. Kasi nga, from 0 to n minus 1. Okay, let's proceed to the
okay, can you see
third
on top of the,
quantum number. Ito lang din yan ha, yung mga next slide sa handouts nyo. Ito lang din
Can
yun.
you see add-ons?
Okay. Pinakita lang yung 3D representation ng
Can you
shapes.
see manage data and
Okay, let's have the third quantum number. Third quantum number is magnetic quantum number or M sub L. Yung M sub L naman, okay, take note, it could have any values from negative L,
I'm sorry.
0 to positive L. So kung titingnan natin yung formula to identify the M sub L values, kailangan natin yung L. Tama? I repeat, kailangan natin yung L. So it is the L that limits M sub L here. This is sub L. Okay? I repeat, kailangan natin yung L para makuha yung M sub L. Ngayon, what is the importance of magnetic quantum number?
Okay, yeah, well, basically,
Key
for that one,
term natin dito is orientation. Orientation, that is synonymous to position, okay, or location, okay, ng atomic orbital. Okay, I repeat, orientation, position of the orbital in space, that is magnetic quantum number. Okay. Another thing that you have to know about magnetic quantum number is that whatever the possible number of M sub L values na makuha mo, kung ilan man yan, then that is equivalent to the number of orbitals in the subshell. What are again examples of subshell? Apat yun. S, P, D, F. Para malaman natin kung ilan yung orbitals per subshell, we can use this concept of magnetic quantum number. How do we get again the values of M sub L? M sub L is negative L, 0, positive L. So halimbawa, the given L. Okay? Halimbawa, from the set of L, you wanted to find out the possible M sub L ng one angular momentum quantum number. So yung L is 1. Kunin natin yung M sub L niya. Okay, so M sub L niya is again negative part ng L, 0, and then positive part ng L. So that would be negative 1, 0, and positive 1. Nakuha? Yun lang. Okay? Negative part niya, then yung 0, huwag kalimutan, then positive. Okay? Positive form ng L. Okay? Now, sabi dito sa last bullet, kung ilan yung numbers ng M sub L values na nakuha mo, yan yung equivalent number of orbitals in the subshell. Question, anong subshell ko na dinedescribe ng L is 1? SPDF. L is 1. SPDF, yes, it is P. Ngayon, we can find out how many orbitals are there sa P given the values of M sub L. Bilangin lang natin kung ilan yung nakuha nating values ng M sub L. We have 1, 2, 3. Tatlo yung values na nakuha natin under M sub L. So, ibig sabihin kapag tinanong kayo, ilan yung orbitals in P subshell? It has 3 orbitals. Nakuha? Kasi tatlo yung numbers of M sub L na nakuha mo. Hindi mo i-add ha? Huwag yung i-add. Ang sabi dito yung number of M sub L values, bilangin nyo lang. Okay, merong isa, negative 1, merong isa, 0, merong isa, positive 1. So tatlo yung lahat ng value. O, ano yung sabi ko kanina? Per orbital, ilan yung dapat na electron, maximum of electron na dapat mag-occupy, tama. Sabi ko kanina, sa isang orbital, dalawa lang yung maximum. So if this is a p orbital, sabi meron p subshell, masulat ko ha, subshell, and sabi dito, merong tatlong orbital sa p subshell. So you have how many in totality electrons can be occupied in the p subshell? In totality, ilan lahat yung electrons? Total of 6, tama. Total of 6 electrons yung kayang i-accommodate ng p orbital. Kaya nga naalala nyo, di ba, kapag nagsusulat kayo ng electron configuration, yung junior high school siguro or senior high school kayo sa chemistry, di ba, yung 1 is maximum is 2. Pagdating sa 2, 2p 6 yung maximum, di ba, na kayang i-hold ng p orbital. Yan yung reason. Okay? It is because of this magnetic quantum number, tatlo lang yung orbital in its subshell p. Okay? Now, another thing that I wanted to let you know is how to name a sublevel. Okay? Kapag binigay is ang sublevel is 3, then L, halimbawa, is 1. Okay? Then, yung tinanong, give me the sublevel name. Okay? Pag sinabing sublevel name, given the N and L, huwag niyong isulat na P lang. Okay? Dapat bigyang halaga mo yung N. So, ibig sabihin, yung sublevel name dito is 3P. Nakuha? Okay? Again, if you are to name a sublevel name, specific good na sublevel name, given the N and L, then you have to provide the letter for L. If L is 1, that is P. Then you have the N value of 6, so 3P. Now what about if N is, sige, 1, L is 0, what is the sublevel name? It is 1, very good, 1S. Okay? So, ano lang. Alright? Sige. So, with this, you can continue, no? You can continue on your notes. Okay? What are the M sub L values here? That is your assignment already para masanay kayo. Okay? I repeat. You can continue at home. Okay? You find out the M sub L kapag L is 1. Okay? you find the M sub L kapag L is 0. Okay, para masanay kayo. Okay? Okay. So, basta M sub L na ha, basta M sub L, negative L, ayan, 0, and then it's positive L. Okay, yung tanong ko, kapag L is 0, meron ba siyang positive, meron siyang negative? Kapag L is 0, meron ba negative 0, positive 0? Yes or no? Wala. Tama, wala. Okay? So, ang M sub L value lang is 0. Tama? So, 0 lang. If L is 0. Again, if L is 0, when you find out the M sub L, 0 lang. Ilan yan? Ilang value yan? Isang value lang yan. May I ask you? Sige, parang kung naintindihan ba talaga. If L is 0, anong sub-level ito? If L is 0, anong sub-level ito? S, tama. Yeah, tama. Okay? So, yung tanong, ilan yung orbital sa S? Ilan yung orbital sa S? Very good. 1. Okay? 1 lang. Okay? 1. Kasi nga, yung M sub L na nakuha mo, isang value lang. Diba? Whatever the number of values na, M sub L values na nakuha mo, that is equivalent to the number of orbital. So, sa isang S sub shell, isa lang yung orbital. Kaya nga, di ba, when you write the electron configuration, maximum na kayang i-accommodate na electron ng S is until 2. Okay? 2s2, 3s2, 4s2 lang talaga yung maximum electron ng kaya niya. Kasi nga, isa lang yung orbital ng S subshell. O, tanong ulit, ilan ulit yung maximum electron sa isang orbital? Sa isang orbital, ilan yung electron na it can occupy? Tama, 2 lang. Okay? Oh, very good. Sige, let's have the last 3 minutes na. Last na quantum number. Okay? For the last quantum number, you have here the electron spin. Okay? Tanong, ang electron spin ba describes atomic orbital? Based on what I have said earlier na slide, does it describe atomic orbital? No. Okay, it has nothing to do with atomic orbital. Instead, it only describes the behavior. Okay? It only describes the behavior of the electrons. So, hindi na tayo masyadong give much more time to electron spin. Kasi nga, spin lang naman yung dinadescribe niya. Spin ng electron. Okay? The rotation. Okay? The spin, the rotation of the electron. Now, what are the possible values of M sub S? M sub S is the electron spin half. It could either have positive 1/2 or negative 1/2. Okay, bakit 1/2? And then my positive, my negative. Okay, in some other references, electron is considered po as fermion. Okay, when you say fermion, that could be a particle kung saan yung spin niya, it describes a spin of a particle wherein yung value should be 1/2. That is why electron do have that value of half. Then bakit may positive, may negative value, charges dyan? That charges, that indicates the direction. Okay, that indicates the direction ng spin of the electron kung clockwise na counterclockwise. So parang if we write down the spin of the electron pwedeng up, so that designates positive na direction. Kapag down naman, yung orientation ng spin, then somehow negative yan na direction of the spin. So I repeat, kapag fermion in general, any particle with spin is an odd multiple of 1/2. And aside from that, electron is also considered a vector. Diba sa physics, ang vector merong magnitude, merong value, and then meron yung direction. So yung direction in that is the positive and the negative. Positive upward, negative downward. Okay, so as you can see here, we cannot really conclude na ang dalawang electron can have the same set of quantum numbers. Kasi at least in an orbital, mag-differ sila sa spin. Yung isa, upward spin. Yung isa, downward spin. Diba? Now, that principle is actually stated by Pauli exclusion principle. So, take note ha, sabi ni Pauli exclusion principle, no two electrons, okay, can occupy the same set or can have the same set of quantum numbers. Okay? They cannot occupy, okay, a particular orbital with the same set of quantum number. Occupy, kulang yan, atomic orbital. Okay? With the same set of quantum number. At least mag-differ man lang sila sa spin. That is Pauli exclusion principle. So short recap, kapag first quantum number, that is the principal quantum number, this could have any whole number, positive integer value of 1, 2, 3, and so forth. It describes the size. What else? The energy level, okay, of the atomic orbital. Then for the angular momentum quantum number or azimuthal, this could have a value of 0 up to n minus 1. So kailangan yung n, okay, para makuha yung L value. And this describes the shape. Okay? Kapag m sub L, ito na yung angular, magnetic quantum number. So it has a value of negative L, 0 to positive L. Alright? And ito naman, orientation yung describe niya. Orientation, position, location of the atomic orbital. And then you have there the spin. Okay, the spin, it could have a value of positive half or negative half. Alright? So this is just an example. Tapos na tayo dyan. You can just review your notes here. Example lang to, kapag n is 1, ano yung L, yun na yun, yung na-discuss ko. You can just review this. Alright? Before we end, let's have a follow-up muna. Follow-up, para di makalimutan. Okay, if n is 2, what are the possible L values? Type in your answers. If L is 2, very good. 0 and 1. Ayan. Oh, let me ask you, what is the sub-level name kapag n is 2, L is 0? N is 2, L is 0. That is 2s. Okay? Kapag n is 2, L is 1. That is 2p. Okay? What about the m sub L values? What about the m sub L values? M sub L values kapag L is 0. Kapag L is 0. Kapag L is 0, what is the m sub L values? Very good. That is 0 only. If L is 1, then, ayan, negative 1, 0, positive 1. Alright? Ilan yan? Ilang orbitals yan? Then that is 1, 3, 4s. Okay, fix yan palagi. Kapag s orbital, isa lang talaga, s sublevel. Kapag s sublevel, isa lang talaga yung orbital niya. Kapag p sublevel, tatlo yan yung orbital niya. Question, ilan yung maximum electrons that can occupy in 2s? In this 2s, ilan yung maximum electrons? Very good. 2. Okay, and then kapag 2p, ilan yung maximum electrons? 6. Okay, per sublevel. Okay, ito naman, we can just have this at home. Okay. Ayan. So, pwede na ninyo siya i-try at home, no? Delay ang ako ang chat box here. But sa Pikas, hindi siya delay. Okay. Time na mo. Yeah, it's already 2:05. So, dire na lang ka mag-end. Ito, sa comprehension check. Madali lang to. You simply state which one is invalid among the sets. So, for the first set, okay, if n is 1, obviously, walang L na 1. Okay? If n is 1, wala talagang L na 1. Kasi nga, di ba, ang L is 0 to n minus 1. That is how to get the L. So, wala na talagang L. Dapat 0 lang. Okay, yung L value dyan. Number 2, as you can see, very obvious. Meron bang spin, value ng spin na positive 3 halves? Di ba, halves lang naman, 1 halves. Okay? Third, okay, if n is 3, okay, o pwede, merong L is 1. Pero, yung M sub L na 2, this is questionable. How do we get M sub L? Via L value. So, dapat, yung M sub L lang dito is negative 1, 0, and positive 1. Okay, positive 1. So, walang 2. Okay, mali po to, mali to, mali to, mali ito. Okay? And lastly, parang puro 0 lahat. Ito yung mali, pinakauna. Diba sabi ko, hindi naman positive integer yung 0. Okay? Do you have any question? Mali ito. Walang n value na 0.